Hello everyone, and despite the fact that you are seeing my face with all the things that a face has on it, this will be a gameplay clip, and it will be your standard gameplay sort of video, but I do want to have a bit where I kind of talk, because this is the last video of the year, and the last video of the best year of Big Alias of all time. So there are a few things I didn't talk about in the last video, and that I didn't mention in this one, that I do want to talk about with regards to myself and the year and everything like that. As I said in the previous video, it has been incredible. It's been an amazing year for me. About almost 3,000 subscribers gained, which has quadrupled my subscriber count, and it's been great to see that go up. I've decided reluctantly to have a schedule for releasing, which is every Monday, and somehow I managed to keep to it. And I don't know quite how I did that. I think there was one week where I didn't upload anything, and that was because I had a lot of stress going on. There was the only real low point of the year was at that time, there was some stuff going on, and I had to write an essay about storytelling in the cinema. So it obviously didn't work out too well. So I didn't upload them, but other than that, all year I've kept the Monday upload schedule. In fact, I think one week I actually uploaded on a Sunday instead, because I really wanted to get the video out. And that has really pushed me to just keep it going, keep it flowing, and really just not lose momentum. So it's a good idea to do that. My recommendation for that would be to upload privately and then push it live on the day that you want to upload it. I made this logo this year, this one, the Big Alias logo. It's great. I mean, I've made logos in the past, and it was good to see my progression in regards to graphic design and creative elements and stuff like that. And I added to my profile picture as well, because obviously I've got tattoos now and I didn't have them before. I didn't draw these on with crayon, except for the one of a dick, but that was police car going by, because I was talking about tattooed dicks. I introduced a new style of video this year too, beyond just we're gonna keep don't touch me, I'm cool. I introduced a new style of video. I did the pseudo vlogs, although almost kind of like a parody of vlogs, and they went great and people seem to like them. I will say the reason I stopped doing those is simply because at the time Ashley and I have more time together, so I could bust the camera out and fuck around with her and stuff like that. But that's not really possible nowadays. The schedule isn't exactly what it used to be. I'm back at university. This happened over the summer when I wasn't. I had a lot of free time. Neither of us really have the time to do stuff like that anymore. Maybe we could do something like that again, maybe next summer. I can find time to do it. But if you did like those, and I do apologise, and I will try to reintroduce stuff like that. Towards the end of those anyway, it was more kind of a one-man show kind of deal. But I had fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it, and I really didn't want to fall into the popular YouTube trap of I'm just gonna make anything. I'm just gonna record myself doing fucking anything, and you're gonna watch it because you feel as though you have to, because the fucking police. When did I grow up in the Bronx? I'm gonna watch it because I feel as though I have to, because all of my friends do. I'm not gonna fall into that, and besides the fact that I couldn't anyway. I haven't got the right haircut for it. So yeah, it's been great, and I thought a fitting way to end the year would be to talk about something this is a commentary I've wanted to make all year, and to end on the notion of moving forward and holding on to the past as well, and learning from it and retaining those things for your own sake. So I thought ending the year with a talk about nostalgia would be a good idea. And I will say that I'm very happy with the way that I'm progressing in regards to my talks. This video has become such a mishmash of fucking camera angles. So this is Dick Cam. So basically, it's one thing I forgot to talk about that I definitely wanted to, but I can't set my camera and my light and everything else up. I have a studio light with a cowboy hat on it. There we go. See, now I look interesting. I walk around in cafes in black and white. I want to talk about my of the years. I didn't do a game of the year or film of the year or anything like that, because I don't feel as though I saw enough films, and I don't know if I'm informed enough, and I don't know. There are so many gaming like game of the year things. I put a poll on my YouTube, and the general consensus is Red Dead Redemption 2 for game of the year. My film of the year was Black Panther. And I know I'm going to catch on with paper that there's so much I haven't seen. I really want to see Widows. I want to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Aquaman, and Black Klansman, and there's so many films that I need to see that I haven't seen. So don't take my word for it, but Black Panther was the best film I saw this year. Best album of the year was No Name, Room 25. Phenomenal album.
My pussy teacher 9th grade English. My pussy wrote a thesis on colonialism and conversation with a marginal system in love with Jesus.
Best TV show of the year, despite the fact that it's in season 2, don't know if that still counts, is that it has to be Atlanta. Atlanta is so good with Donald Glover. Watch Atlanta if you can. But if I'm going from season 1, then probably Haunting of Hill House. Game of the year, Red Dead Redemption 2. It has to be. It's probably the best game I've ever played. But I can't not mention God of War, which was easily second place because it was so fucking good. But Red Dead Redemption 2 was the best game I've ever played. But God of War is a masterpiece. They're both phenomenal games. I think we were spoiled this game with good year. This game with good years. Tires. We were spoiled with tires. Anyway, so those are my of the years. So yeah, have a great new year. 2018 has been personally one of the best years of my entire life for reasons I explained in the previous video. Also, everything's just been kind of chill and great, and I've been really enjoying myself. So hopefully, fingers crossed for a 2019 that's just as good. And I hope to God, honestly, genuinely, sincerely, despite all the dick jokes I make, and my cock is huge, despite all the dick jokes I make, I hope that everybody has an amazing 2019. Whether you're a YouTube creator, I hope that you get a ton of subscribers. Honestly, genuinely and sincerely, I really hope that people get everything they can out of YouTube, because I like to see that. I like to see smaller channels grow, especially if they deserve it. And I hope if you have exams you got to do, that it works out well for you, or a relationship that you're trying to blossom or whatever. All the best from me and from my alter ego, Big Alias, and from Ashley too. We both wish you the best, and watch the video and enjoy it. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll disagree with me and think I'm a total piece of shit, and that'll be a great way for you to end the year. That guy, Big Ali, what a twat! What a absolute prick. I've always said prick. A tiny dick. Roll the video. Do the video.
Hello there, I'm Big Alias, and welcome to 2019, the 19th year of the Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm old. This is a commentary where I contemplate my own existentialism. I don't think that's a word, but yeah, this is a commentary, and I'm going to be talking into your face and ears. And I want to talk about a subject that I do think very much rules the system, or at least definitely has an effect on everybody's lives, and it's something that I like and don't like, and I think it's something that everybody likes and doesn't like. It's an interesting concept because nostalgia is something that is both good and bad. It's missing something, but also having a feeling that thing is returning to you in some way, but not in its full form. I sound like someone who knows more than I do. But yeah, so this gameplay that I chose very specifically because I think that it reflects that notion more than most gameplays. I can't think of a mission that's more nostalgic than Halo. Halo sounds incredible. I think it might be the most nostalgic mission of all time. And I will say that I grew up in this beautiful era of gaming. I grew up in a brilliant era of gaming. My first games console was an N64, so it was the perfect age for the era of N64, and then PS1, and then PS2, and the 360, and now subsequently we're on the Xbox One, which I think is the most hit and miss, the most great and shite generation of gaming of all time. And I do think it's probably the worst generation, purely because there is so much negativity and so much wrong with it, and it is so deeply and inherently flawed that it just completely stops it from being something better. And I think that previous consoles were void of that. They were void of all of those issues, and specifically the issues that we have now. So I want to open up by talking about a tweet that I saw, which was, some guy was like, if you played Halo 2 and Halo 3 online and Gears of War online and Call of Duty 4, then you can fuck with me in a good way, I think. Everyone's like, yeah, this is great. But of course, there has to be one guy who has to play devil's advocate and has to be the middle ground and go, and that's the internet. There's always that one dickhead, and he basically said, look guys, if Fortnite existed back then, it would have been the biggest game. It's so much better now. We have games so much better now. Blah blah blah. You're just looking at this. Nostalgia's a powerful weapon, and you're just all looking at it through a nostalgic way. It doesn't mean that it was a good game. Well, firstly, you don't have to say that. Secondly, it also pre-assumes that Fortnite is the best game ever made, of which clearly it isn't. Look, I know a lot of people love it, and I know people get addicted to it and sink a lot of time into it. And I'm not going to tell you what to like and what not to like. And I do think it's good that people are playing video games as much as they are now, and that it's not so much of a stigma. And I think that Fortnite has done that well. I'm trying to be as nice about it as possible. But it's one map. I mean, it's a free-to-play game. What more could you expect? It's one map with skins that you can buy, leveling, and not much else. I know it updates, and I know that you can, there's some sort of create a map thing in there, but ultimately you die and you have to wait 2 minutes to respawn. Everything is deeply monetized, and it is hugely flawed. Whereas when I grew up, the AAA titles, the titles that everybody was playing, had campaigns with explosive set pieces and beautiful stories, expanded universes, a gorgeous score, and then you go into multiplayer and everything is given to you. Each game came out with around about 12 or 13 maps for multiplayer when multiplayer came around, and they were all constructed to be fun to play on. Everything you unlocked through progression rather than just paying money to something, and everything felt more so you were being rewarded for what you were doing. But it made the community more active, and we were communicating more with one another. And yes, it did lead to a lot of toxicity, but we kind of dealt with it. It was just it was part of it. It encompassed it. And I don't think we have that now. And so I think to say that the gaming has, the nostalgia is just making people think that games were better than they were is very narrow-minded and very ignorant for someone to say. I think that analogy just... I mean, if you apply it to something else, that's like saying that, Infinity War is better than Pulp Fiction, which I'm sure to a lot of people they think it is, but critically, and personally I think, Pulp Fiction is an incredible film. It's one of my favorite films ever made, and as much as I loved Infinity War, I don't think it's as good. But I've seen Infinity War 3 times this year, and I haven't seen Pulp Fiction yet this year, so I've got a week to go. And to say that people they play games, they're not playing these games now, so they're not as good, is totally... I didn't mention that part of the tweet, actually. This guy said it's not as good because we're all playing Fortnite now and we're not playing these games, so clearly they're not good. Listen, time happens. People's opinions on games happen because they just play and play and play and play and play. They want something new. That's like saying that the best game you should never play anything but what was the best game at the time, which is wrong. It's not true. So but I do think a lot of people think that way, and I do think nostalgia can get in the way of things. I think a perfect example of that is that I've been going through and playing all 360 games through Game Pass and Games with Gold, and beating some of the games that I didn't beat in the past. And I just bumped into Rainbow Six Vegas 1. I beat the second one, which was awesome, so I thought I'd play the first one. That game is great. It's tactical. You really do have to think about everywhere you go, and it does give you this burst of nostalgia through its old shitty graphics and stuff like that. However, it is deeply flawed. The physics just feel really swimmy. The guns don't feel fun to shoot. You can't aim down sights and hit anything. And above all that, it took me forever to get to the end of Mission 3. I stepped out into a courtyard. I did this mission over and over and over and over again. This is on the easiest difficulty in the game. I did this mission over and over and over again. I couldn't get through it. I went out I thought I killed everything after like half an hour trying to get past this bit. I stepped out into the courtyard and got one shot sniped in the face on the easiest difficulty in the game and died immediately. Now that wouldn't happen by today's standards, and I couldn't play the game anymore after that. I was like, I can't do this. I'm done. I can't play this game anymore. And that wouldn't have happened by today's standards. Today's standards, we would have learned from years of that and gone, well, we can't do this anymore. Let's not do this anymore. So it would have been 3 hits to die, and I would have known where that enemy is, because there's no way of knowing where the enemies are in Rainbow Six Vegas 1. I would have known where he is, and I wouldn't have got shot and killed immediately. So that's what's great about modern gaming. But at the same time, to juxtapose that argument, Halo 3 is my favorite multiplayer experience of all time, and I still think it is to this day. I still play Halo 3 online more than any other online game. Now, you can say that it's nostalgia. You can say that when that score kicks in, it gives you a burst of nostalgia, and that's the only reason you're playing it. But Halo 3 has the perfect pacing for a multiplayer game. It doesn't spoil itself. It doesn't layer shit on top of itself. You can't run around the map and go crazy, and that's what I love about the game. And as much as people can say, well, no, it's still nostalgia, you just want to love it. I have 300 hours logged on the Master Chief Collection, of which most of it is online this year. Last year I had, I think, 90 hours logged on World War II, and I think this year I've got around about 90 hours on Black Ops 4 as well. I have about 5 hours on Fortnite, if that, and an hour or two on PUBG. You know, the most popular games now. And maybe that's me, and that is what I prefer, but I think just to purely say that you like something because it's nostalgic, because it's something that you played before, it's just inherently not right. You know, you bring that notion again over to films. Pulp Fiction was made in 94. Infinity War was made this year. Again, Infinity War is a great film for some people, but it doesn't mean that it's the best. It doesn't mean that just because more people have seen it than have seen old Hitchcock films, it doesn't mean that it's a better film. At the same time, there is an aspect to that. There are games that I will play purely for nostalgia's sake, that do give me that burst of that. But I think if I can recognize that, and if you can recognize this notion, then go ahead, indulge yourself in it. But I don't think that it should take control of the path at which you take. And I'm not just talking about gaming with regards to this. I do think that we're in a climate where we need to stop looking at the past through rose-tinted glasses and stop inheriting that onto other people and saying, hey, you can unlock these rose-tinted glasses for the price of a vote. And I do think that in order to harness nostalgia, we have to kind of accept the notion that it does exist and it's ever present and it's there, but at the same time, there were things that were better. I do think that Halo 3 was the best gaming experience. I think that the art style was simplistic enough for it to not seem invasive. And I think that Call of Duty 4 had maybe not Call of Duty 4, but Black Ops 1, I think they've reached the preface of exactly the perfect formula, and they added enough on top of it. But then, of course, over time, once something becomes old, it becomes dated. They are on the 15th Call of Duty game right now, and they are just layering things on top and adding things and adding things and adding things. And I think the biggest example of that is actually in Battlefield, where Bad Company 2 was a shooter on a big map, with destructible environments, but they had to layer things on top, and now it's a clunky, slow, meandering mess that's just, it doesn't feel fun to play anymore. But on the other hand, the destructible environments were legitimately better in Bad Company 2, so I do think that yes, nostalgia does play a part, but at the same time, you know, there were aspects of gaming that were better back then. We didn't have to deal with microtransactions, and we could just put a disc in and play it immediately. And I think ultimately that surpasses the great graphics and storytelling that we have in some of our games now, not to mention the terrible multiplayer only games that we have. Right, okay, I will see you all later, and goodbye.